What is going on, YouTube? Back here again on the Fumble Pod. We got a busy weekend to talk about. It's Thanksgiving. I gotta go over games, NFL, college, starting from Thursday going all the way to Sunday. Busy, lots of got games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a busy slate, but I am ecstatic to get into it. If you're new around here, I am your host, Dalton Lee. Let's just jump right on into it. We're going to kick off with the NFL since that's what's going to be happening first on Thursday. And I'm going to try and keep them in the chronological order that they are in. I know there's going to be some other primetime games. I'm not really going to talk about those because some of them are just really bad. I'm mainly going to cover the three on Thursday because those are the better ones. The Friday game, and then the one game I picked out on Sunday that I think is going to be probably the better of the slate. So starting off tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we got the Packers traveling to Detroit to play the Lions. Lions right now are opening up as 3-point favorites. And this is the second time these teams have played each other. We know the first time Packers absolutely smacked around the Lions. It was in Green Bay. It was week one. I think a lot of personnel was trying to figure out what's their role, how are they attacking defenses, XYZ. I would say now the Lions are in a lot better flow offensively. With the Packers, the offense has been arguably the worst it's been as of late. There were times early on in the season where they were looking really good. They could kind of do whatever they want. Last couple of weeks, they've kind of sputtered. They really have. I feel like they don't know what their identity is. They can't establish a run game. The passing game, I feel like, gets too heavy and too obvious. Jordan Love is so up and down. I think what would help would be if they had a true number one wide receiver instead of a group of number twos and number threes. Tucker Kraft going down does hurt. Granted, that Packers defense is still very good and will keep them in a lot of games. But I just think the Lions offense is going to be just too much for them to deal with. I like the Lions winning at home, moving to 8-3. I got the Lions, or 8-4. Got the Lions winning 28-24. I still think it's going to be a nice contained game, but it's going to be very entertaining, I think. I think it'll be probably one of the more entertaining games of the week. And then at 4:30, got the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Dallas to play the Cowboys in Jerry World. Right now, the Chiefs are opening as 3.5-point favorites. And I think it's fair. I think right now we've kind of seen the Cowboys in what could potentially be lightning in a bottle. The defense has been really good as of late. The offense is still phenomenal. Granted, CeeDee Lamb's having his own issues. Can't hold on to the ball to save his life. George Pickens has been phenomenal. Dak Prescott's actually been playing pretty good. And they actually have a pretty good run game going right now. But the Chiefs, I feel like, flipped the switch in the Colts game. And I feel like they're going to kind of be able to carry it over. I think they're going to be able to run the ball early. I think Mahomes will be able to get into a nice groove. I know the Cowboys are going to be without Trayvon Diggs, so that secondary is going to be a little beat up. Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce, they should have good days, I would think. I got Chiefs winning this one. I got them winning 27-24. I think it's also going to be a little bit of a closer grinded out, but there'll still be quite a bit of points. It's going to be entertaining as well. I think the first two games are actually going to be really good on Thanksgiving. And then we get to the third game. And this one's kind of weird. It's kind of weird because we got the Bengals traveling to Baltimore. Baltimore's opening as a 7-point favorite. Baltimore's won 5 straight games. They are now tied for first in the division. The Bengals are 3-8. Been very rocky. T. Higgins is going to miss the game. Jamar Chase is coming back from suspension. But Joe Burrow is back. Joe Burrow is officially going to start this game. And then that's when the questions start arising. Like, Joe Burrow's great when he's on the field. He's great. When he gets into a rhythm, can get in touch with his guys, he's phenomenal. But he's missed 3 months of football now. What version of Joe Burrow are we going to get in Baltimore in the night game? Are we going to get Joe Burrow that's competing for MVPs? Or are we getting kind of like the Joe Burrow we were getting week 1, week 2, where he was still trying to figure out the offense and how it was going to flow and that the defense wasn't playing great? But at the same time, Ravens defense hasn't been phenomenal either. It's going to be an interesting game. I do like the Bengals to cover the spread just because it's hard to count out Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. But I can't see the Bengals winning this game. I can't. So I'm going to roll with the Ravens 28-24. I just think they're on a heater right now. Lamar's playing out of his mind. The run game has been really good. The defense has gotten better from where it once was earlier this year. And it's the Bengals defense. The Bengals defense has not been great this year. They've had moments where they've been good, but they haven't consistently been great this year. I'm gonna roll with the Ravens. I think the Ravens are gonna handle business, move to 7-5, start kind of taking control of the division once again. And then Friday night or Friday afternoon, I will say, because I believe this game's at 3:30 or 3 o'clock on Amazon Prime. You got the 8-3 Bears traveling to Philly to play the 8-3 Eagles. Right now, Philly's opening as a 6.5 point favorite, and I think it's a little much. Only reason I say that, the Eagles' offense at times has looked atrocious. Started off the Cowboys game really hot, firing on all cylinders, and then just goes cold second half. Nothing. Whereas the Bears, they can be a little up and down, but I feel like they finally have established good running game, allowing Caleb Williams to make good decisions to his wideouts that can make plays. The Bears defense has gotten better. They haven't been great, but they've gotten better. And the Eagles defense is still prone to giving up big plays and can get worn down. If the Bears can establish a run game, keep Caleb out of turnover trouble, and kind of keep the Eagles guessing, I think they have a very good shot. Ben Johnson's a phenomenal play caller. He knows how to attack these types of games. Oddly enough, I'm taking the upset here. I'm going to take the Bears to come out and win this game 24-21. I just think right now, if you look at a lot of their games, yeah, there are beating teams, but they kind of got like this little, kind of like what we said about Chiefs. They were getting that little dark magic lucky. They get a ball to bounce their way. They get a turnover late to save a potential game-losing drive, XYZ. And I just think that's going to carry with them. And you can call it what you want. I do think sometimes to be a good team, you got to get lucky at times. And if luck goes your way, you got to be able to handle it and still handle business and win out. I like the Bears to win this one. I'm going to take them 24-21. This is really going to put a lot of pressure on the Eagles going forward, especially if the Cowboys somehow win their game. Eagles lose 2 games in a row. It's going to open the door for the division, and one in which we thought was kind of locked up for sure. But yeah, I like the Bears in that one. And then the only Sunday game that I really want to talk about is it's at 4:25. The Bills are traveling to Pittsburgh, play the Steelers. The Bills are opening up as 3.5 point favorites. They are coming off of a tough loss, I guess we would say. I don't want to say a bad loss, but it kind of is, against the Texans. One in which that Davis Mills started, and Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter had field days out there, made Josh Allen look lost, and the Bills really couldn't sustain nothing crazy on offense. They had a couple big plays, but that was about it. There was nothing consistent out of them. But they're playing a Steelers team that's, I don't know what to make of the Steelers team. It's like one week the offense is moving, the defense is not good, and then next week the offense can't do anything, but the defense has been really good. And then you get last week where you got Mason Rudolph, you're actually in the game against the Bears, but then you put Mason Rudolph in a position to try and get you down the field to tie or win the game, and he can't do it. When it's, in theory, in your mind, it would be Aaron Rodgers. If it's Aaron Rodgers, different situation. As of right now, I don't know if Aaron's going to play. I would imagine he probably is because he didn't play last week. The Ravens are on a heater. The Steelers need to get back in the win column. They need to just find ways to win some games just to keep them in contention of the playoffs and maybe the division. But I think the Bills, after getting embarrassed in Houston, are going to have fire lit under them, and they're going to be ready to get out there, get active, jump on a lead early, and be able to run with it. I like the Bills in this one, 35-27. It definitely covers the spread. I don't think the Steelers defense can be able to do a whole lot. Maybe if the Bills have to get pass happy, they'll be able to do something, but the Steelers defense is kind of like a shell of what they used to be. So I can't really sit here and rely on that defense to do anything good. That's what I got for the NFL. Now we're jumping into the college games, and I think, in my opinion, this is always the best week of college football. It's rivalry week. More times than not, you get a lot of big matchups. You get crazy games in matchups you think aren't going to be any good, just because it's rivalries, it's high tensions, high stakes. This is the best week. And there's a couple rivalries I'm not even going to talk about. I'm not even touching on the Iron Bowl, Alabama Auburn, just because Auburn's been so pitiful this year. Not even touching that game. Florida State, that's normally a decent rivalry, not touching that. But there are several rivalry games that are big games and potentially could have playoff. I had the word and it escaped me. Playoff results. Games that are going to determine things that seed up the playoff bracket. Because this game is going to determine, a couple teams that go to conference championships, a couple teams that probably secure a playoff spot, even if they're not going to go to a conference championship, or might eliminate a couple teams from any type of contention. That was the word, contention. It's the word of the day. Write that down. So starting off on Friday, we got two good games, real good ones. At 3:30, we got number 4 Georgia traveling. No, they're not traveling. This is a neutral site game at, I believe, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Georgia's going to play number 23 Georgia Tech. At one point, we were like, this game might be good. Georgia Tech was looking really good. Georgia, at times, looked vulnerable, even though still dominant. Looking at like, this game might be really good. And then you've had Georgia Tech fall off the last couple of weeks. Georgia's still phenomenal. The defense is only getting better. The offense is very run-heavy yet again, and they're running it very efficiently. Right now, Georgia's sitting at 13.5-point favorite. And this is obvious. I understand that last year, I think it went to 3 or 4 overtimes, this game did, between Georgia Tech and Georgia Tech just wasn't able to pull it out in the last couple seconds. But I think this Georgia Tech team is at an all-time low. This defense is getting bullied around. The offense, if they get shocked once, they're truly just out of sync. And like we saw in the Pitt game, this Georgia defense is way better than Pitt's. It's in Atlanta, so you would think Georgia Tech would travel pretty well, but Georgia fans travel pretty well too. A lot of SEC championships played in that stadium. With Georgia there, that place is rolling. I'm going to take Georgia to just smoke Georgia Tech. I got them 38-13. I think Nate Frazier's going to have a good day. I think Gunnar Stockton's going to have a really efficient day. I think Georgia Tech's going to have to try and put a lot of weight on Haynes King's shoulders, and he's not going to be able to keep up. Not against this Georgia defense. And I think this is going to pretty much eliminate Georgia Tech from any type of playoff contention, ACC contention. Get them on out of there. So I'm taking Georgia 38-13. At 7:30 on Friday, we have number 3 Texas A&M hosting number 16 Texas Longhorns. Other way around. A&M is traveling to Austin to play at Texas. And right now A&M is only a 2.5-point favorite, which I am kind of shocked by, just because I understand A&M had the game the other week against the Gamecocks. They had to come back down 30-3, won by a point. I understand. But this A&M team is still very good. And I can at least say from A&M, I've seen more consistent, better tape from them than I have the Longhorns all year. Longhorns really, I would say the defense has been phenomenal, but the last couple of weeks they've fallen off the wagon. They gave up, I think, 30 to Arkansas. They gave up 30 to Georgia. They haven't been nearly as good as they were early on in the season. Even with the offense kind of getting a little better, Archer's been a little more efficient. The turnovers are still kind of there every now and then, but the offense can move a little better. The offensive line's played a bit better. But if that Texas defense is going to play the way it has been the last couple weeks, I think A&M's going to be able to jump on a lead, milk clock, and handle business. Whereas Archer's going to be trying to play from behind. I think that's where you're going to get the mistakes out of him and get some really bad turnovers that'll kind of kill the game. There might be a point where the game is close and then Arch's going to have bad turnover, bad miscue, something. And that's when the momentum's going to fully shift over to A&M. They're going to be able to steamroll and cruise right on into the SEC championship. I like A&M 35-14 in this one. I know I've picked some big spreads in these early Friday games, but I understand it's rivalry week. Sometimes they're closer, but it's hard to sit here and look at the first two matchups and be like, okay, there's clearly a talent difference and a coaching difference. I'm going to go with that versus throwing it all out the window as we would, even though I'm going to kind of do it in these next ones. On Saturday, 12 o'clock, probably the biggest rivalry game in the last 5 years in college football. I think it's safe to say that. You got number 1 Ohio State traveling to Ann Arbor, play number 15 Michigan. Michigan's won this matchup 4 straight years. They're looking to go 5 straight. Won it last year in the shoe against Ohio State, the one that went on to win national championship. Crazy. Ohio State's opening up as 9.5-point favorites on the road. Only thing that concerns me is I don't know how consistent the run game's going to be. I know they had a good week last week running the ball, but that was against a lesser opponent. They're playing Rutgers. I don't know how it's going to look like against a Michigan defensive front. And I'm concerned with the health at the wide receiver position between Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. Both missed last week. Jeremiah Smith's been out for a little bit. Carnell Tate couldn't finish the UCLA game. No, Purdue. He couldn't finish the Purdue game. Didn't play any last week. So both of them are coming back from injury if they play. I don't know if they're going to be 100%. I don't know if they're going to be ready to roll. Michigan might come out and be able to punch them around a little bit. I think this is going to be a tough, close, gritty game. But I like Ohio State to win it this year. I think Ohio State is going to win it, go undefeated into their conference championship, trying to be the number 1 seed in the entire playoff. But I like Michigan to cover. I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. I like Michigan to cover. I like Ohio State to win it, 24-20, close game. Tempers are going to flare. It's going to be great. I honestly like to see. I don't like to see guys fight and get in trouble per se, but we see temper flares. At least then people care. This means something to people. That's how it is. Emotions run high, especially in matchups like this. It's a very tight rivalry here. If you're a fan of either one, you absolutely hate the other one. So this is going to be a great game. Then also at 12 o'clock, this is more so just in terms of shaping out some ACC stuff. Number 12, Miami is going to travel to number 22, Pitt, to play the Panthers. Miami's opening as a 6.5-point favorite. I know Pitt had a great week last week. Offense could do whatever they want. The defense, made Haynes King and them just look pitiful for majority of that game. Miami's a little better than Georgia Tech. Miami's offense is a little better. I think Carson Beck's a better thrower of the ball. I think they have a better running game, and that defense is way better than Georgia Tech's. So I think Pitt's going to really be up for their match, but Pitt's gone through some tough games these last couple of weeks. They know what really good teams look like. So I do think it's going to be close. They're going to be at home. I do think Miami's going to win, but Pitt's going to cover, just like in the last game. I got Miami winning 28-24. I think it's going to be a really close, really fun game. Come down to the wire. I think Miami's going to win this game in hopes that maybe they can sneak into an ACC championship game, win it, and just be able to go to playoff. Because if they don't, Mario Cristobal's going to be on a very, very hot seat. 2 years in a row where you've been in positions to make a conference championship and potentially win to go to playoff, and you fail to do so. Whoo. It's going to be a very hot seat. That'd actually be a nice job probably for some people. Just looking at how the ACC is, you can go in there and turn the team into a powerhouse overnight and run the conference. And then the last game I'm going to touch on. 3:30. Number 14 Vandy travels to number 19 Tennessee. The Volunteers are opening as a 3.5-point favorite at home. I think Vanderbilt has had a phenomenal year. This is going to be Diego Pavia's last game. I think Tennessee has kind of been underwhelming, is what I would say. They haven't beaten a team with a winning record this year. Anybody they've beaten has had a losing record. So with the way the season has looked, you would think, okay, Vanderbilt. I still question a lot of things Vanderbilt's got going on. I think the offense is too Diego Pavia heavy. I think the defense isn't that good. I think Tennessee should be able to run the ball well enough to open up a lot of their passing game. And Joey Aguilar should have a pretty good day at home. It's going to, in theory, be ending as a night game. I like Tennessee at home to get the win. Vanderbilt's going to cover the spread yet again. I like Tennessee to win 30-27. I think it's going to be quite a bit of points put up. I think it's going to be an electric atmosphere as well. And even though I didn't really write down about these games, I do think Alabama's going to beat Auburn. I can't tell you the last time Auburn's won that game. It's probably been 4 or 5 years at least. State and Carolina play. I mean, this is really just to be put a nail in the coffin potentially in Belichick's coaching career. I think State's going to win the game, even though it's in Chapel Hill. It doesn't matter. What does UNC have to play for? Nothing. They can't go to a bowl game. State's the better team on paper. Granted, UNC's defense has been a whole lot better. The offense is still a little questionable, and I think State's offense is 10 times better. So I'm going to take State to win that one. And then Duke has to play Wake Forest. Wake Forest, really good team. Wake Forest, sneaky good team. There's a couple games that they lost that absolutely, I think, were in position to win. Mainly Georgia Tech if they get screwed over by a call or two, but that's hearsay. I'm going to take Duke to win it. Duke's won that matchup the last 2 years. I think Duke's going to win it again this year. Make it a three-peat and just let Duke be the overall best team in North Carolina. Would have beaten 3 of the major 4. I think it'd be a fun little tidbit in there. Technically, if Duke wins and a couple other teams win and lose in ACC, Duke can still sneak in an ACC championship. I don't foresee it happening, but it'd be kind of exciting. It'd be something. It'd be something to cheer for. But that's all I got for you this week. If you're new here, subscribe. Hit the notifications button. Let you know when we're posting more content. If you've been around for a minute, like the video. Share it with a friend. Leave a comment. I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy time with friends and family. Eat some good food. And be ready to sit down and watch some great football. But until next time, deuces.